Let's celebrate. There's a party going on right here, a celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We're gonna celebrate your party with you. Come on now. Let's all celebrate and have a good time.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost.
Join us in the heart of personal transformation with Level Up Circle TV, your exclusive gateway to unlocking your inner potential and achieving extraordinary results. This TV show is your secret weapon for personal and professional development, packed with valuable insights, expert advice, and real-life success stories. Are you ready to take the leap and transform your life? Don't just watch, participate. Tune in, take notes, and then take action. The journey to your greatest self starts here. So, get inspired, get motivated, and get ready to level up. Join us and let's embark on this transformative adventure together. Click that remote and let's start making your dreams a reality. Welcome to Thursday's Level Up Academy Circle TV. This is your host, Dr. Leland. Welcome. So, I am nowhere to be found because here I will pop up myself in a minute, but I wanted to take this moment to thank 26 different souls. They said yes to themselves, right? If you are doing a project and you want people to be part of your project, the project is not about you. It is about for the community, and it is about the people who believed in your vision. They believed in your vision because they see themselves as part of that vision. So don't ever take advantage of that. Instead, celebrate it. So here I am celebrating 26 different co-authors, right? This is our book. It's coming out March 14th and 15th, so mark your calendar because it will be free for you all to read on how we are done surviving. without our own adversity. We are thriving. Are we going to not have adversity? Of course not. That's not possible. We're human. We'll always have adversity. Some of us go through adversity that's more than others. These amazing souls, okay, I was reading their paper when I was editing. I was crying and smiling at the same time. It's think about like, when it's raining but it's sunny. That's how I was feeling when I was reading their story, and it's raw and they're being vulnerable and they take you to their journey. And the moment that they realize, wow, is this it for me, or am I going to move beyond this boundary that people shackle? And I, recognizing that I am the one who put myself here, and move and step forward beyond that shackle and crossover, right? It's not always rainbow, guys. Once in a while, you will get rainbows, but here's the thing. When you live in the gray zone, beyond the boundaries of societal boxing you in, society's box, right? My dear sister society would say, move beyond boxes. We are moving beyond boxes. We are making that movement more than ever today. We need to gather as human beings, because next 10 years, 15 years, 20, 50, 50 years from now, we could be sitting to a fully functional robot that you will be talking to. Call me crazy, but no one knew that you could take your computer in the palm of your hand, right? No one knew you could go to the internet in the palm of your hand. How about this? A watch, you could talk to your watch. Can you imagine 100 years ago if you did that? They would lock you up and burn you, right? But think about that. More than ever, it is so exciting to be human. Your differentiator as a human is through collaboration, not competition. And that is what we're all about today. With my partner in crime today, Laura Cross, we're going to talk about self care. But these are the amazing souls, 27 of us, is saying we are moving beyond boundaries and thriving in life's gray zone. And you said, CJ, gray zone is neutral, boring, ugh. That's because you don't know us. We're partying up here in the gray zone. You're getting left behind. So you better read up. This right here, on the top right, Jacqueline, she died. In all accounts, scientifically, she died. Then when she lived, she was in a coma. And today she's helping her community thrive. And that's just one story. There's 26. I can't wait for you guys to know that. And welcome to Level Up Academy, right? Today is the day where we celebrate you. Oh, my green screen is making me look like I'm in the figment of your imagination. I'm not even here. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. First things first, also, is I want to make sure that you guys are able to help our dear sister and Danielle, right? And I will be putting her information through a QR code later that you can scan. Her and her family is going through huge adversity, but today she never stops caring for her community. She never stops supporting everybody, not just me, everybody in our community. So I'm loving that for sure. Also, if you are needing publicity as a thought leader, I am running a special right now. I believe one of the magazine itself has like over 100 million readers, right? And usually the publicity magazine that you can go, like we're talking LA Weekly, New York Weekly, MSN, Yahoo Finance, CEO Weekly, Entrepreneur. I have access to all of those premium magazines. Right now, I'm going with my PR team, and we're hoping that we can negotiate a lot of these rates. That's super expensive, right? Who knew 800 words would cost you 50,000 inside of these magazines? Craziness. But for 5 different magazines, you will be featured as a thought leader in the next 2 months. It ends this month, so it ends next week, and then no more for this one. But you're going to be in 5 different magazines and highlighted as a thought leader. And you're like, well, why is that important? Because it is about reach more than anything. It's not for vanity measure. It is about reach. The more people who knows what you're doing, for the community, the better you are positioned and helping a lot more people, right? It's all about that. And that's right there is the scans. If you want to scan that QR code for current publicity and write with us, meaning I will write your information and I will interview you and I will put you in light where you are a thought leader. Okay. And you're like, what do you mean? I've been writing books. I'm writing journal articles. I've been writing academic publishing, been content creation for lots of universities. And this time, I'm not going to do it for corporate, I'm doing it for you because I think you no longer should be the best keep secret out there. You should be the best solution for everyone. Okay, so that is where I am. And then, of course, you can scan TV Circle, which is our Level Up TV Circle, where it's at. It's giving you light here on our TV. But are you guys ready about self care? The importance of self care. And I actually am curious, okay, today on what Laura will say about how does she do self care. Keep in mind that as human beings, we're so complicated, literally complicated. When it comes to self care, it really depends on a lot of things. And you probably haven't really thought about it. Most people are like, well, I do journaling, I do meditation, I walk my dogs, I exercise, right? You think that's all self care. But if you really think about and reflect on what you just said, those a lot of those things that you're doing is not really mental self care, right? You might think, oh, it's for mental. I'm taking a break in life. No, most of those are somewhat physical and somewhat halfway there. So I'm so curious to know from Laura today and what she or how she defines self care. Are you guys ready for Laura? I am. Here she is. Come on in, Laura. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do for the community, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, like maybe I should say, like many people, a lot of us, if you're around my age, we we won't go there, but and you were raised in the generation where you go to school, you get a job, you go to work, go to work for somebody, and I was highly encouraged. I did all that path because I'm an '80s child, and I was doing that path, and I will say I was highly encouraged to join the Air Force. And I did go in, and I never regretted that. I was happy to serve, but I had stopped going to college because I had went in. So I did a number of things, met my husband there, and you get living that whole entire life. And we always thought we were happy doing what we were doing, but really, when you think about it, we were just working jobs to make ends meet. And none of that realization really came to me until my husband passed away at the age of 36. I was 37, and we were laughing at lunch, and he was dead by 10 o'clock that night. Never had our honeymoon because we were always busy jumping through hoops wherever military wanted us to go or what time we had. We saw this family or that family. And that was a smack of reality, kind of, you know, that was a serious wake up call. It really was. When I had just turned 37, and you don't think at 37 that you're going to be restarting things all over, I felt like my life had came to a crashing halt. And so, we had 3 dogs for kids, and we had to put one to sleep. My husband died 2 weeks later. The following year, I had to put another one to sleep. Within 13 months, I had been at 4 different hospitals, 3 different funerals for family and friends, and I had just said I had had enough. For me, that was a wake-up call, and saying that life was too short to be doing that kind of, thing. I didn't want to have to answer to anybody anymore. I love being there for my friends and my family. I've always been that kind of caregiver type person, and always giving. There's just a right way and a wrong way to do it when you're trying to help people. I will tell you that. When you go through a loss like that, you see people like maybe they're smoking a bunch or maybe they're doing this, and you just want them to stop because you don't want to lose anybody else. Well, nobody likes being told what they should or should not do or could or cannot do. So from there, I mean, that's when I had started my journey as an entrepreneur. I got into travel because I always loved traveling. And when COVID had scared the snot out of everybody about traveling, that's when I realized the reason I want people to travel is to take better care of themselves. Because I don't care if it's military, blue collar, entrepreneur, whatever, we just get going and going and going, and we get stuck in what I call a rat race or hamster wheel, whatever you want to call it. We just go, go, go. We stop doing the things that really bring us joy and, the pleasure in life, and we stop doing things that help us be ourselves. You kind of get away from who you truly are, when you do that, or when you're doing jobs that you're told you're supposed to do or people think you should do. um, you know it brings you down a different path. So that's when I morphed more over to self-care. Still a travel agent, still love to travel. Travel is a huge part of self-care, getting away and exploring different cultures, environments. There's so many things to be learned and enjoyed out there. I think life's too short not to. um, but self-care is different for everybody. It's not the same. It's more than bubble baths. It's more than, meditation and, everybody says woo-woo stuff. Yes, there's a lot of woo-woo stuff that can help you, but there is also, like I said, doing the things you love. Like for my fiance, it would be working on the race car, going racing. That's something that energizes him, that he's passionate about. I think it's about doing things that you're passionate about that truly fulfills yourself. Because if you're not fulfilled, it is very difficult to help or, support others when you're not fulfilled.
I'm glad you said that. That's why I'm saying, like, you can't see my desk, but I have a lot of woo woo stuff in here. Like, literally, I have rocks everywhere.
Mhm.
And I just got, I forgot what it's called. I do have a singing bowl, but I got this new thing, right? I don't know what it's called. Somebody help me. Like, it's like a cymbal almost, but it's really
Mhm.
quite heavy. But it makes that
Yeah.
sound, right? Like, that's kind of loud in the mic. But what it actually, for some reason, I'm very sensitive to sound because I suffer from migraines. And so, like, loud noises, it's funny because I used to go clubbing all the time, but now it's like you said, when you're a little bit older, right? There's things that just bothers you. So sound, actually, certain sound helps me recenter myself, and it's really hard for somebody who has adult ADHD period, right? Because my brain
Right.
just bounces everywhere, and I need to focus to finish a project, right? And I'm like, okay, I need to focus. So in order for me to do that, I found a way to literally do movies in here, a little bit of noise in here, and then I have three different things that I'm running because that's how I function. But if you look at me, you're like, what is wrong with her? Like, what is there? So many things. And my husband's like, I'm overwhelmed. Your office is overwhelming. Like, there's just so much, windows open, right? But like I said, we function differently. So I
Mhm.
want to know, when you say the importance of self care, obviously, first of all, thank you so much for your sacrifice, okay, in this country. And
Thank you.
secondly, I am so sorry, genuinely, that you didn't get a chance to even enjoy your husband before
Oh,
you moved on.
oh yeah. We were married for 14 years and 3 months, but we never had a honeymoon or anything like that because Desert Storm almost canceled our wedding. So it was kind of go travel, use some time, a week vacation to go get married, turn around, come back, and go right back into the grind. So yeah, it was different,
Yeah,
definitely different.
and I'm sorry
But
that.
like you were saying, self care is different for everybody. I mean, for me, if I need to focus and write something or focus on things, I need quiet. Mostly because music and dancing is my happy place. If I got music and stuff going on, I'm more wanting to dance or sing to the song, and it's not helping me focus. Yet I have friends and people that they need that noise and stuff, and they can focus perfectly fine without doing that. So
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
where I learned to ditch the judgment. We need to stop judging everybody and just meet them where they're at, and support them.
Yeah, and today you're helping other people do that, right? So, can you tell me a little bit about some of your practices to help your client, busy entrepreneurs, busy mom, right? Busy dad, busy people, period. How do you tell your clients, listen, life is more than what you think it is? Get out of your head, get out of your title, get out of your money or success, and be mindful of how you're living your life. I'm not telling you what to do, I'm
Nope.
just telling you to reflect if you're happy with what you're seeing, because people think success is this and that, but some people think success is this and that, right? Like you said, everything is different. So
Right.
can you give us like at least one or two practices that you give your clients on how to be mindful and how to live their life?
Well, it and everybody, like you said, is different. I think the most important thing is listening to them. Like, if they're upset or they're stressed or they're burnt out, find out why they're feeling, learn about their life, their routines and stuff and what they're doing. And you can always just have a conversation, and it's just more like suggestions or guide them, but let them kind of come to it. They have to come to it. It's not something, like I said, that you can tell or share. I can let them know some things that worked for me. If that's something they want to try, we can do that. It's also one of the reasons I love building the communities that I build. It's about, no judgment, and it's about having a community where it provides education, resources, connection, and collaboration. Because, like you, it's not a competition, it's a collaboration. The bottom line is getting somebody the support that they need. If they don't resonate with me, or they have maybe some deep seated trauma that they need help with, I love to be able to say that I know someone that could probably help you, and building those communities. So I don't even necessarily do a whole lot of coaching. I love building these communities. I have met people across the world, and there are so many different things, and don't get me wrong, I do have a lot of woo-woo stuff. I have learned, how much that works, wearable technology, Qigong practices. There's different things, but sometimes it doesn't always work for people. Sometimes our brains just don't function that way. So, to me, my passion really lies in bringing these communities together and providing a place where people can find support, people that are not going to judge them, and just genuinely want to help and see them live healthier and happier lives.
True.
It's
Well, what are some of the things that you say, hey, because I know that you run Mindful Mondays and you
Mhm.
talk to a lot of people on how they basically take care of themselves. What are some of the most common thing that, or theme, I should say, that your community are saying, hey, these are non-negotiables for me, Laura. This is something I will not budge when it comes to self-care. What are some of those things?
So yeah, self-care, mindfulness, it all kind of goes in there. I love the like-minded community because a lot of the people that I meet, they're truly heartfelt. It's not about money. Don't get me wrong. We're business owners, money's involved, but we put people first because that's our passion, is to create a positive impact, you know? So that's kind of a drawing line. Someone that doesn't fit that scenario for us obviously is not a good fit. We don't want the negativity. We stay in a positive, happy space, and it's about the people. It's not about the bottom line. I mean, when you put people first and you genuinely care about people, the rest comes into place. And so, for us, it's you have to kind of protect yourself from the others. We have kind of a tribe, and in a way that helps. That is a huge self-care there. We have a like-minded tribe where we all support each other. Will we all always agree with maybe what someone does or not, or maybe understand it? Maybe not, but we're fine with that because it works for them.
Yeah,
It's a very accepting community.
it is. And it's hard to find a community. Like I belong to a lot of communities. Like I belong to like micro cultures, right? There's so many pieces of like, well, I belong to the teachers community, I belong to the student community, I belong to the business community, I belong to E360 TV with you, right? Like we have
Hmm.
a little bit of micro cultures around. But what I found in terms of people and self-care, right? We need support from other people. But it's really hard to find support that you truly feel that there's no judgment. Sometimes it felt like you're in a community where there's no judgment, but then down the line, you're like, oh, so this is not the community then, because I felt that judgment from Australia, right? Like
Hmm. Oh
you're
yeah.
feeling that, right? And so, how do you find communities that says, hey, you need to take care of yourself before you burn out? Because that's what most people are worried about me. I'm going 1,000 miles an hour. I'm pretty much everything I do. And what I usually tell people is like, thank you. First of all, thank you for thinking of me, right? You
Hmm.
literally took the time to tell me. So thank you for taking care of me. I appreciate that very much. I'm going to put your mind at ease that I do have non negotiables when it comes to self care.
Yeah.
I will not let myself go in terms of mental capacity. Like if I feel like something is up, I usually talk to my dear sister Susanna or, Danielle or Dr. New. Each one of my friends have their own superpower that I can calm myself down, right?
Hmm.
Where
Right.
I okay, today I'm gonna light a candle and listen to music, not dancing music, Laura. Okay, the calming music, the
Yeah.
meditative music, right? And
I have that too. But yeah. Yeah.
I just light
Mhm.
up the sage and I calm down. But for somebody who has ADHD, it's really hard to focus. Really hard. It's so difficult. People just don't understand. Because when I'm doing something right here, my brain is really telling me to do something else. And for me to really focus on one thing at a time, it drives me insane. And so I have to find a way to keep my own illusion in my head that I'm doing something when I'm really not, and not go in circles all day to be more productive, to find a way to calm myself down. So my non-negotiables are definitely friends who I can count on. Those are my non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Secondly, my non-negotiables for friendship is to be there for them because it's give and take. Now, for
Yes.
my own sanity, I do walk my dog. Sometimes they do stress me out more than anything than calming. Okay, um, but it's just going outside, taking a breath air and get off of your cell phone and your computer, even for 5 minutes. It makes me feel like my brain is reset for a moment there. What are some of yours?
So that is a big one of mine. We recently moved from Colorado to Missouri because we didn't like the chaotic and crazy and the way the state was going. And so we moved down to Missouri. So now we have 7 acres next to the honey farm. It's a whole different environment and mindset. So, yes, I feed the birds, I feed the squirrels, I feed the deer. I have trees. I can go out walking. I take the dog out. I just go out and walk and just enjoy nature for what it is. It's quiet and it's peaceful, except for the chirping birds and the leaves blowing. And it's just, yeah, for me, that resets me. And it's a nice to take a breath of fresh air.
Mm. So does
So,
that mean an invitation? Sister Susanna, do you see this? Laura doesn't know it yet, but she just invited us to go to her session.
always welcome, always welcome.
Oh,
But yeah, it's a beautiful area. But yeah, my non-negotiables that I had to set in is, for one, it's like, first of all, other people's lack of planning does not constitute my emergency. I have a schedule. you know, I have a schedule. Like when I do meetings and stuff for the show, I do meetings on Monday and Tuesday, but I don't do more than 3 a day because I have other things to do. And I'll wait 10 minutes because I know things happen and I don't get bent out of shape about it. But if they don't show up, I just politely say, hey, please reschedule or find another time. If you'd still like to meet, I'd still love to talk to you. But I'm not going to sit there and hang on it all day waiting for them to show up or wonder why. I just move on, and then when I do recordings, I don't do more than 2 recordings a day just because that gets exhausting and you have other things to do. So for me, a lot of it is setting the healthy boundaries that, protect you. Cause I used to be one of those ones where a friend would call and boom, the phone would go off in the middle of the night. My phone is silent. If I'm doing stuff like this, my phone is silent. When I go to bed, my phone goes into silent mode starting at 10 p.m. at night by 7. But generally, unless it's family or friends, I'm not answering it after 8 o'clock anyway, because that's just my time. I'm normally done working by 5. There are exceptions that pop up every now and then, but Other than that, I stick with those boundaries because I need my time to do stuff. Because if you're taking care of a household or you're cooking or you're doing this, but you're trying to run the business too, then you're just in another hamster wheel, and running. But like you said, if someone needs that, like you do multiple things at one time, that's wonderful because that's how you function. So that's why I say meet people where they're at, because we're all different. I don't like people that try to shove cookie cutter things at you and say, well, this works, this is what you need to do. No, because you're not listening to me. Even becoming in the path of becoming an entrepreneur, if you're going to go from a regular job to becoming an entrepreneur, I would strongly suggest that you take some time and figure out within you what you're passionate about doing. Because if you're not excited to get up and, go to work and do what you want to do, then you're probably not doing something that really lights you up or fires you up. And it's great to have mentors, coaches. I've had a lot of them, but also you need to learn to take those information for what it is, but make it yours and not just follow them. You can follow them, but if it doesn't really fit who you are, you're still not going to get where you need to go.
I like that. And that's really why people were like, oh, well, this doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for you because A, you're only 20% committed, right? Most of the
Mhm.
time, I'm guilty. I'm speaking from experience. When I buy something and you're like, yeah, I can do this, you're so excited. When there is no accountability, when no one's checking up on you and putting that peer pressure, like, did you do it, CJ? Nope, nope, sorry. Yet I'm pretty honest. If I didn't do it, I'm like, sorry. But here's the thing, when you are so busy, think about closing your eyes, think about what you're trying to do, and you're like, I suck as a human. I still haven't found my purpose. You know why? Because you're looking at the external factors and see all of these people that are so, like, in your head successful, right? In your head, they're external factors. Oh my God, they have so many followers. Oh my God, they have so many things happening. Stop that. Because your purpose is not them.
No.
You have to look at yourself. Okay, close your eyes. What do you love to do? Do you like gardening? Then do it. I definitely will call you. I'm a serial plant murderer. I will kill cactuses. That is for sure. I will call you for sure. And what I love about what you said on mindfulness and self care, really, I put it in category. I'm very structured, so I like to put it in category. For me, there's physical self care, like the walking, the breathing, the
Mhm.
exercising regularly. Again, guilty. I've been paying for my membership. 12 months now. Maybe I've gone like 6 times. I'm horrible. Okay. Because again, I don't have someone pushing me in accountability. My daughter, she's been trying really right now. So we've been trying to go back. So exercising regularly, it's not because you want to look hot and look like 60. That's good. When you're 60 and you look like 20, perfect. I am all for you. But you're doing it so your blood flows and you're not sedentary. You're doing that for that. Okay,
Yeah.
not for anything else. But maybe in your 20s, okay, fine, you can do it like that. But when you're in our age, probably approaching that 50 mark,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're doing it for just, oh, my back doesn't hurt today, my knee doesn't pop, like we're doing it for that. But getting enough sleep, which I don't get enough sleep, getting hydration, right? Those are
Mhm.
all the physical. Then you have the mental, emotional, which is practicing mindfulness. Again, I love what you said, Laura, because it's not about cookie cutter. It's customized to you. Keeping a journal. I love setting boundaries. I'm a people pleaser. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I'm not there yet. I'm guilty. And having that moment saying, you know what, I'm not going to do more than 2 recordings. I am not going to do more than that a week. I'm not going to do, and it sounds like you're not doing a lot of things, but it's actually setting your boundaries, right? A lot of people saying, Dr. Leland, I can't talk to you until June. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. That's my calendar, right? So if you are in my calendar and you cancel, you're going to have to wait 3, 4 more months. So you better
Mhm.
show up, right? And here's the thing, a lot of the conversation I love because we're connecting with human beings. But a lot of people that I talk to sometimes, and I ask them, well, why did you actually have the time? You have 15 minutes right now with me. Why did you set up that time? And they can't tell me. And I'm like, so why are we here? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because I'm looking for that answer of connection. I'm not looking for an essay, like, because my, no, I want to know more about what you're passionate about, right? Not because you're running a business and all this. That will go in. I can probably more likely 99.9% I can help you. But I want to know
Yeah.
who Laura is. Where's your heart? What's leading you to where you need to be? That's what I care about, right? Engaging in hobbies. Do you have any hobbies, Laura?
I just recently picked up one of the hobbies back up that I love. Well, I did used to race cars with my fiance, so we used to race on quarter mile dirt track. But um, I guess more my creative side. I love counted cross stitch, and I used to cross stitch whether it would be baby blankets, pillows, whatever for people. So I picked that back up again and started doing that. Put aside the electronics, and because I can do that and something different. It's something you're creating and building. I used to do woodworking when I was a kid. I used to do all kinds of stuff. And I have all kinds of things. If I've got projects outside, once it's nice, which we're getting nicer, I love to go outside and go work on those. I got bird baths I want to sand down and paint and, do different things. But yeah, I have lots of different little hobbies.
I like
So,
that. My hobbies. I play video games. I fly a drone once in a while. Really, just snoop around my neighbor. Hopefully, none of my neighbors are watching. And I'm like, what is they doing? Why is it so noisy down three? There's only 20 homes where we're at, so I pretty much know all the neighbors. But we have new neighbors coming in, and they seem to have so many cars all the time. And that's when you know you're getting old, because when some cars come in and it's really loud. My husband's car is really loud, but there's a push of a button where he doesn't have to be loud, and I'm like, you're giving me nuts. Like, my brain's going crazy with him when he goes really fast. He does race, and I was like, no, please stop. And then I see this neighbor's kid, vroom, vroom, and then really loud music. I'm like, well, at least put on a good music, kind of blast it to the neighborhood. And then I like fly my door. I'm like, what are they doing in that house? And I see them, and my husband's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. And then he's like,
and depending on where you are, you could get that drone shot down.
oh yeah, in California, oh yeah. But I also have an FAA license, because they want to make sure here that you don't fly in the zone where there's helicopters, because we get helicopters low enough, and it is a military town. Like San Diego is
Yeah.
a military town. We have
Well,
NMC.
I will tell you my drone experience, because when we were putting the house up in Colorado for sale, which it sold in a day at the time, but we're meeting with our realtor, and all of a sudden we had this big, like 14-foot long deck in the back, and it's got all these windows. All of a sudden we see this drone, and it's just hovering, and it's staring at us through my own window. I mean, it is like this far off my deck from the window, just staring at us. I'm like, oh, that's it. And then my freaking neighbor on the corner, and I'm like, I'm so glad we're leaving. I'm like, up to here with this,
Oh
because he used
no.
to drive his four-wheeler through our property on the back, where if he gets hurt, it's like, it's our property. Well, I didn't think it was a big deal. I'm like, I figure I'll just come over and jump in your pool then, because it's not a big deal, right? It's just like, I'm like, there was just like no respect of people's,
Privacy.
property or boundaries, and I
Yeah.
was like, no.
Yeah, I
and
won't go
and they won't.
like that. What I do is I go on top of my own property and just see from the neighbor, and then you can zoom in anyway. But you don't need to be on people's faces like that. I will be throwing crap at that thing for real, and I'm feeding it to my dogs. I'm jealous, because I really want, like, I grew up in a farm, and I love animals. And if I had 7 acres right now, you know what I would be doing? I would have 20 German Shepherds running around my property. For sure. I will have a llama, a cow, a bunnies,
Bunnies.
cats. Oh, the animals, exotic animals. I would want a giraffe. I know that's not possible, but I would want a
We do have people that have camels up the way, but they
giraffe.
actually have camels up the way in Buffalo. But
Maybe I'll buy some, and I'm like, Laura, can I have 18 here? 7 acres.
everybody asked us, is like, oh, you gonna have that? No, I'm not. I don't want chickens and cows. I don't mind visiting people, but I want to go back to traveling and stuff. I don't want to have to get somebody to come in and maintain and feed them. Or, I have we adopted my friend's service dog, so I still have him. So he goes everywhere pretty much with us, but he can't go on cruises and stuff because I'm not the service member he was meant for. But, he has serious separation anxieties. That's what he was trained. He was trained to be with you 24/7, to be there. You can't just shut that off, you
No.
know, out of them. But yeah, I mean, we help take care of our neighbors, animals and stuff when they're gone. They've got lambs and the chickens and the ducks, and so you get fresh eggs. They have a honey farm, so I got fresh honey. And
Oh, I like that.
when you suddenly don't see a lamb, next thing you know, you'll be getting invited for dinner because guess where one went? I'm like, I can't do that myself. I can't meet and get to know it and then have it on my table. I'm like,
I can't
that's
either.
not
That
me.
would break my heart. Like literally, if I have pets, do not touch it; it will get murdered. Like that's how I feel. Yeah, I don't have service animals, but I feel like my animals are service animals. They are with me 24/7. Bathroom breaks, outside, they scream like. Oh, and sometimes you'll see my live TV. I would just disappear. It's because one of my dog pulls my power cord. And I was like, there goes Duke. And my friends were like, CJ, was that you? I'm like, yeah, that was Duke. It's because he's just crazy. Now, going back to self care,
Mhm.
as a professional, right? We talk a lot about taking breaks. How about learning new skills and seeking feedback? How do you actually do that? How do you practice that?
Well, since I've done the self care, White Sand self care community and the TV show, like I said, I have met so many more people. So, kind of like Eastern meets Western and all the different modalities. So, I am always learning. I am learning Qigong right now, and I've got books to learn about chakras and, all that stuff because it's amazing what is out there. If you don't have any judgment, you go into stuff with an open mind, then there's a lot that you can learn from people. It may not fit, may not be you, but just learning to me, I love learning and doing that. I mean, yeah, it's fascinating. I always continue to learn. I think if you stop learning, you stop growing.
That's
Is
true. That's true.
is how
And
I look at it.
you said a really key skill there, open mind. A lot of people, we judge others not because we know them, because we like judge them because we know them. No, we are afraid to learn new things. There's
Hmm.
so many things that are unknown. I don't care if you live 100 years, you will never know the world. You will
No,
never know the world.
there's too much out there. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah, but keeping an open mind and taking in whatever you can learn. That's why I love learning. And I love learning both formal and informal because I want to get out of this life when it's time for me and I'm expired. It's time for me to go. I want to have that last moment and said, yeah, I've learned a lot of things and I live my life the way I want to live, not based on people telling me how to live. My parents were like that, like you gonna go this, and they mean the good way because they have suffered too, right? And they want a
Hmm.
better future for you as a child, and that's what I do for my kid. But I think my kids are. I did something wrong in there because like right now there's no care and there's no like fire in that belly when I said, "Hey, you're late." They're like, okay. So I was like, oh man, we gotta get out of California. This is just not happening right now. You need to, when my grandma
Yeah.
told me you gotta go, she meant you gotta go, or you're gonna get beat right now if you don't move. My kids, no, no. Even I don't even think if you really beat them or punish them that it would do anything. It's just that there's no spirit. Like there's just nothing. So I'm like trying to find motivation, everything I can possibly do. And sometimes your kids is not motivated by material things. They are motivated by emotions, especially
Hmm.
children, right?
Yeah.
They're feeling loved, they're feeling heard, they're feeling valued. Those are the things that I see they really care. And that is the one that messes them up as an adult if you don't give them enough of those. If you give them too
Yeah.
much of those and there's no discipline, then that's another problem that you run to, right?
There's
What
always yeah, there's always a balance. Yeah.
let's talk about digital self-care, Laura. We live in a digital world. Can you tell me what is your digital self-care?
Oh my god. I don't stay attached to my phone nearly as much as I used to. You can actually there's actually settings you can actually go into your phone and it'll tell you how many hours you spent scrolling or on screen time and all that other stuff. Um, you know, yes, it's fun, it's mind numbing, but it's like when I have something more important to do, you know what? My phone is muted, it's off to the side or whatever. I'll get to it later. The world isn't going to come crashing to an end, in that it'll still be there when I get there. Um, I do play on my tablet. I will play games on my tablet. And every now and then I break my own rule and I wind up taking it and lay there in bed and play it until I pass off and go to sleep. But that's really not the best thing to do. The best thing to do is just leave the electronics in another room, even if you can. Mine has an alarm. My phone has an alarm on it. So I leave it away from the bed, but where I could still hear it. And I mute it. And, like I said, because when you're connected to people all over the world, guess what? Their daytime is your nighttime. And I turn off notifications because I don't want to hear my phone going ping, ping. I don't know about you, but I am a light sleeper, and that is going to that is going to wake me up and disturb my sleep. And if I see something, being the nurturing or caring person I want, if there's something I'm going to want to answer, and it's like, okay, need to stop. Sometimes you need to just sit back and think for a minute and then answer a little bit later, and not just do knee-jerk reactions and answer to stuff, because that can kind of turn out disastrous too, or you might wind up typing something you didn't mean to type. So yeah, they have their place, and who knows where we'd be in the world without them. We've gotten so used to all of it, but
I'm so glad you said that. I think the new generation of kids that pretty much live in the digital world, I've seen it all over TikTok too. Like, kids get so super addicted that if you take away the phone and the iPads, they literally have a meltdown, right? They get even violent. This is when you need to go back to old world way, where if a kid did that, there's going to be something coming, and it's not going to be the iPad. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's not going to be the iPad kid. But here's the thing. Adapting to the new world, I'm sounding so old. Adapting to the new world is not going against. It's more of what works for you and customize it. And I'm loving this conversation about digital self-care. And I actually would love to know, Dr. New is here. She's very good at meditation. And we all are guilty of being on the screen all the time, right? And what's really weird is that my friends know that if they text me, I usually text back. And if I don't text back, then I'm probably busy. But if I don't text back after the next day, there's something wrong. And I do the same, right? I start panicking if I text someone. Actually, Dr. New, a couple of days ago or last week, she didn't text me back. I'm like, guys, something is wrong. And I'm like calling all of our friends, and literally her phone just didn't function, right? But that's how we care, is we care about people and making sure that if it's something off with the communication, there's definitely something good. What I've learned from that is a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is we can now check up on family and friends quickly, right?
Yep.
The bad thing is now I'm starting a rumor something's wrong. You're really wrong, right? I'm like, wait, that could be really bad. Like, you know what I mean? So you got to find that balance. But for me, limiting screen time is definitely good. I have limited my screen time on my phone, but I have not limited my screen time on the computer, and I need to do that because I think I'm literally on 15 hours on average a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 6.5 hours of that is me teaching, right? 6.5 hours of that, and then another maybe 5 hours of grading, right? So that alone already is being a teacher. Then I run a business and I run my publicity hub. So think about those. Everything is online. So I got to find a way to buy my own time back to do self-care. Digital self-care is what I want to focus on for me, so I can tell you all how to do it. I can do it getting off at 18 hours a day. Okay. You can too with your 5 hours a day. Believe me. Right. So I wanna find a way for me to find that balance, and the only way to do that is back to having your own business, making money so you can have other people have a job and you have a life. You know what I mean?
Right. And a life, yes. And the calendar is helpful for that. Like when I schedule meetings, I use Calendly, and I make sure that there's a 30-minute gap, and people can't book within 30 minutes. So it gives me a gap, because I have done this to where I let people book meeting after meeting after meeting. It's like, okay, now I'm not have dinner done. Now I don't have this. My back and my neck and everything is such an extreme pain. Guess where I'm headed to now? The chiropractor or physical therapy, because I am so locked up and in pain because I have done nothing but sit in front of the screen. So I make sure there are those gaps. And even if it's just 10 minutes to just get up, walk away, move. My physical therapist and stuff always said, motion is lotion. So, and we don't get that unless you're moving around, or if you sit on one of those exercise balls where you can at least wiggle. But when you're in a chair, I have yeah, Bobby from Bam Motion out of California. That's what he does. He uses them big blow up exercise balls. So even when I'm doing the show with him, he's on his ball and he'll be demonstrating and he rolls, but it keeps his body with some kind of movement. Because when we get into regular chairs, we just sit there and it locks up the body, and we weren't meant to we weren't meant to not be moving.
That's true. That's true. Well, we are actually having a great conversation. I love this. We went from physical to mental to digital because we are digital, right?
Yep.
Before we end, Laura, is there anything that you would like people to know about your business? What is Mindful Mondays in about a minute or two?
Yeah, Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross is me reaching as many people as possible instead of just the Facebook group on there. And it's meant to provide that education, the resources, the connection and collaboration to others. And it's a variety because self care and mindfulness is more than emotional and practical and physical. It's also spiritual, it's also financial, business. I mean, there's so many realms. If you're off in one area, it's going to affect another part of your area. You have to figure out, and everyone that is on there is pretty much believes from within. We have to work within. It's not just putting a band-aid on something and you can fix it. So I would love people to come check it out if they're in that realm or they want to talk about speaking on it. I'd love to have them on there. We just build in the community, and I just love building that community with that support. The one thing I do tell people is, like, it is judgment free. There is a no judgment zone, and I stop using the word understand, because you're not in my skin, I'm not in your skin, so I can maybe relate to something you're going through, but I can't fully understand unless you're that person. So I really work hard to even get rid of that word, because I think that's a word we use too easily.
Hmm. Thank you for keeping me being mindful. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use that one. Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you. And go ahead and wait for me. If you guys need to talk to Laura, let me know. She is on LinkedIn as well, and I will hook you up. All right. Wait for me in the green room, and I'll be right there. Thank you guys so much for being here today. As promised, I'm going to put my sister Danielle's information here. I promise you guys the very beginning that we do need to help our sister Danielle. And please go ahead and scan it. And any help that you can give goes towards her family. And we're trying to make meals for her. Her entire community where she lives in Sacramento is trying to help her create meals for her family. Thank you guys so much for being here today. And I will see you next week, Wednesday, and of course, Thursday for our TV show. Have a beautiful and blessed Thursday.